everybody, welcome back to Coral Gardens. Today I just wanted to do a quick little video about I'm going to do a video about going on holidays and making a DIY feeder for the fish tank. Before I do that though, I just thought we'd zoom in here. We got a nice little new visitor here. A nice little Duncan in here, going through quarantine. He's really happy in there. Anyways, let's get back to what the video is about, and it's about a feeder for when I go on holiday. So I've got some new fish in the tank. Got some fish that aren't on pellet food yet, and so one of the difficulties with that is when you leave for holiday, you have to have somebody come in and feed them your frozen food, if that's what they're eating. So these fish here, I mean, some of them will take the pellet food, but most of them will not. And I just wanted to make sure, I got some pretty small fish in there. I wanted to make sure that they were eating while I was gone. So what I did was I went onto Amazon and I purchased a mini fridge. And this is just one of those little mini fridges that hold 6 beer, I think, or 6 pop. And what I did to this was, I also went and purchased, I think it was about 80 bucks for a little doser. Little Comore doser. And now this isn't set up right now, it's just here for this video, but I've got a little Comore doser in here. And what I do is I defrost the food and put it into a container here. With the doser goes into the container, and you can see here I've hacked a hole in the bottom of the fridge. I drilled it and put in through the power, and also the doser drips through here and out and into the bottom of this. It just drips out the bottom and into the tank, which keeps the food fresh and refrigerated at all times. And this thing actually works quite well. It keeps it pretty darn cold. So I have that set to feed twice a day while I'm away, and it's pretty much plug and play. I didn't have any issues with it. I think I had it set for feeding a little bit too much food while I was away, but I can dial that in quite easily. So yeah, it's pretty simple. When I have it mounted here, I've just got it up here just for the video so you can visualize it. I do have a bracket under here on the wall that this sits on properly, but it's actually in the garage and it's getting shortened just so it's a little bit more lower profile. So it will sit on a bracket here so it's mounted properly over the fish tank, because you don't want anything to be able to fall in there. If it's plugged into the wall, it could be a really bad day for you and your fish. Other than that, yeah, I think it worked pretty well, considering it was like a couple $100, I guess. And now I've got this here, and it's quite easy. You just you come up, it's got a little handle, pluck it right off and put it away. So yeah. So for a tank update, I guess we'll just kind of let you have a look here, see how some of the corals are doing. I think the elegance is still trying to settle into the new tank. I'm not totally sure that coral is happy yet. Sometimes these elegants are real hit and miss. I've had great experience with them, and I've also had a lot of friends have terrible experiences with them. And I think a lot of it is where they're collected or how they're collected. I think sometimes you just bring them home, and between 2 weeks and 6 months later, they're gone. And so it's really hard to say what the cause is. I know there are some bacteria diseases with these and stuff. So anyway, so you never know with those ones, but everything else seems to be doing well. We got some little frags in here. The corals, the lighting here, the camera's not the best, but the corals seem to have pretty good polyp extension and seem to be pretty darn happy. We've managed to keep the water parameters pretty rock solid with the equipment we have here, and from my experience, having rock solid parameters is what benefits the corals and keeps everybody pretty happy. It's when you start changing stuff. I'm the worst with wrecking stuff. I mean, something will be good, or I used to chase numbers and I used to worry too much, and now I just sort of leave the tank alone and let it do its thing, and much better success. I mean, my first few years of reefing were basically just a learning curve, but now I really enjoy the SPS. I love watching them grow, the colors, they're just amazing corals. You can see here to the right of this coral, you can see a bleached out little piece of, to the right there, you can see, where is it here, right there, there's a little piece of coral there that came with, so this frag had 2 pieces on it, and when I looked at it, that little piece there had some death on it, and I knew right away that that wasn't a healthy piece of coral in the store. Now, I really wanted this coral. You can't see the colors, so you can't see why with this camera, but it has some really beautiful rainbow colors to it, and I really wanted the coral. So I bought it anyways, knowing that that little piece was gonna die. And sure enough, I was right. It just continued to die until it's just bleached out. So I'll probably snap that off and let the coral grow, but the rest of it does seem quite healthy and is doing quite well. So yeah. Yeah, we're seeing quite a bit of new growth on the corals already, which is quite nice. Got a little hammer garden going on down here. That one's a 24 karat. I have to tell you, because you can't really see the colors with this camera. That's a violet, and this one's a rainbow. It's a green, blue, gold. Yeah, green, blue, gold. There's a little bit of purple in there too. So, yeah, that's a neat looking one. And then in a place where most corals would hate to live, in the shadows, in a cave, we've got a piece of frog spawn which just loves it. So yeah, there you go. You can see we still got some algae in there, and that's why we've beefed up the cleanup crew there, and I'll give that a few days. That'll look a lot better. I've added about 20 snails to the tank now, or 25, sorry, 25 snails. You can see them in here. They're working on areas they're not supposed to be. But they are getting to work. So anyways, that's the update for now. And yeah, that's the feeder that I use on the tank when I'm away. And I find it to be pretty easy, convenient, and it saves me having to have a friend or a buddy or somebody come by and feed the tank for me. I mean, ideally you would have someone feed your tank twice a day for you, right? So it saves me having to worry about that. And I can feed frozen, or I can feed pellet. I have a pellet feeder here. I have, so ideally I'm gonna have these guys on pellets soon. But as you know, when you have new additions, freshly caught fish, babies, stuff like that, you're lucky to get them to eat first. So I get everybody going on something easy to eat, some meaty foods first, and then I move them on to the, I move them onto the pellets as soon as possible, train them out. Anyways, that's it for now. Like and subscribe, it really helps the channel. And if you hit the notification button there, you will get notified on the next video that we do. And we're probably gonna do some with some of the equipment next. Anyways, take care.